I don't have money, can I fix your engine? Begged little girl to billionaire CEO thought. Rain hammered against the windshield of the black Bentley as it sputtered to a stop on the deserted highway outside Detroit. Marcus Holloway, CEO of Holloway Industries, slammed his fist against the steering wheel. Of all the nights for his car to break down, it had to be tonight, the night of the merger announcement that would make him billions. He grabbed his phone. No signal. Perfect dot through the rain-streaked window. He spotted a dim light about 100 yards away, a small auto repair shop, barely visible in the downpour. Marcus cursed under his breath, grabbed his briefcase, and stepped into the storm. The shop looked abandoned. Rusted tools hung on the walls, and the concrete floor was stained with decades of oil. But there was someone there, a small figure crouched over an engine in the corner. "Hey," Marcus shouted, "I need help. My car broke down." The figure turned around. It was a little girl, no more than 12 years old, her face smudged with grease, her hands blackened with oil. She wore oversized coveralls rolled up at the ankles. "I can fix it," she said quietly, her voice barely audible over the rain. Marcus laughed, a harsh, dismissive sound. You're a child. Where's the real mechanic?" "There is no one else," the girl replied, her dark eyes meeting his. "My grandfather owned this shop. He died 3 months ago. I'm all that's left. Listen, kid, I don't have time for games. I have a meeting in 2 hours that's worth more money than you'll see in your entire life. Get me someone who actually knows what they're doing." The girl's jaw tightened. "I know what I'm doing. My grandfather taught me everything. I've been fixing cars since I was 6. Marcus checked his watch. Every minute counted. He had no choice. "Fine, but if you can't fix it, you're wasting my time." He paused, reaching for his wallet. "How much do you charge?" The girl looked down at her oil-stained hands. I don't have a business license yet. I can't legally charge," but she hesitated. "I need help. The bank is foreclosing on this shop next week. If I could just not my problem." Marcus cut her off. "Just fix the car." The girl's expression hardened. Without another word, she grabbed her tools and followed him into the rain. But Marcus watched as the small figure disappeared under the hood of his Bentley. The rain had lessened to a drizzle, but the night remained dark and cold. He paced, checking his phone repeatedly. Still, no signal. "The fuel pump is shot," the girl called out, her voice muffled. "And you've got a leak in the coolant system. Whoever maintained this car did a terrible job. Can you fix it or not?" Marcus snapped. "I can fix it, but it'll take at least an hour, maybe more." Marcus swore. The merger meeting would start without him. Millions could be lost. But what choice did he have? He watched the girl work, her small hands moving with surprising confidence and precision. She worked in silence, methodical and focused. Something about her reminded him of someone, a memory he'd buried long ago. "What's your name?" he found himself asking. She didn't look up. Emma Reeves." The name hit Marcus like a physical blow. Reeves? No, it couldn't be. "Your grandfather," he said slowly, his voice tight. "What was his name?" "Robert Reeves." She paused, finally looking up at him. "Did you know him?" Marcus's face went pale. Robert Reeves, the man whose life he'd destroyed 20 years ago. Asterisk, 20 years. Earlier, Robert Reeves had been Marcus's business partner when they were both starting out. Robert was the genius mechanic who'd invented a revolutionary engine, his own one, that would have changed the automotive industry forever. Marcus had been the businessman, the one with connections and capital. But Marcus had wanted it all. He'd stolen Robert's designs, filed the patents under his own name, and pushed Robert out of the company. When Robert tried to fight back, Marcus had used his lawyers and connections to bury him. Robert lost everything: his invention, his reputation, his future. The engine design had made Marcus billions. It was the foundation of Holloway Industries. And Robert Reeves had disappeared. Broken and defeated, returning to Detroit to run a small repair shop in obscurity. "Yes," Marcus said quietly, his throat dry. "I knew him." Emma returned to her work, but her movements had changed. There was tension in her shoulders, something deliberate in the way she handled each tool. "He talked about you sometimes," she said, her voice eerily calm. "Before he died, he told me about the partnership, about the engine design, about how you stole everything from him." Marcus's heart began to race. That was business. It was a long time ago. "He died of a heart attack," Emma continued, still working under the hood. "The stress of losing everything, the shame, the debt. It killed him slowly." She paused. "But before he died, he taught me everything. Not just about fixing cars, about engines, about the design you stole from him." "What are you talking about?" Emma emerged from under the hood, holding something in her oil-stained hand. It was a small electronic device, no bigger than a matchbox. "Do you know what this is?" she asked. Marcus stared at it, his blood running cold. "This," Emma said, "is a kill switch. My grandfather designed it years ago, built into every engine based on his original design. He told me about it before he died. A way to shut down any vehicle using his stolen technology." Marcus's eyes widened. "You're lying, am I?" Emma's voice was steady, mature beyond her years. Your Bentley uses a Holloway Industries engine, doesn't it? The H7 series, based entirely on my grandfather's design, the design you stole. She held up the device. This controls the fuel injection system, the ignition timing, everything. With this, I can make your car run, or I can make sure it never runs again. Marcus lunged forward, but Emma stepped back, her thumb hovering over a button on the device. I wouldn't, she warned. One press, and the engine core melts down. Permanently, you'll never get to your meeting. What do you want? Marcus's voice was hoarse. What do I want? Emma's eyes blazed with an intensity that made Marcus step back. I want justice. My grandfather died poor and broken because of you. This shop, the only thing he had left is being taken by the bank next week. I have nothing. I'll pay you, Marcus said desperately. Whatever you want, name your price. I don't want your money, Emma said coldly. I want you to feel what he felt. The helplessness, the powerlessness, the knowledge that everything you've built can be taken away by someone more powerful. She held up her other hand. In it was a phone and Marcus realized with horror that she'd been recording their entire conversation. You just admitted, on camera, that you stole my grandfather's design, Emma said. Your own words. This video, combined with the documents my grandfather left me, will destroy you, your company, your reputation, everything. Marcus felt the ground shift beneath him. This child, this 12-year-old girl, had backed him into a corner more effectively than any competitor or lawyer ever had. You're smarter than I thought, he said, quietly. My grandfather was the smartest man I ever knew, Emma replied. He taught me that intelligence isn't about power, it's about patience, about waiting for the right moment. She paused. He told me that one day, you might come here, that karma has a way of bringing people full circle. I didn't believe him, but here you are. The rain had stopped. In the distance, the sky was beginning to lighten with the first hints of dawn. So what happens now? Marcus asked. Emma looked at the device in her hand, then at the phone with the recording. For a long moment, she was silent. Now, she said finally, you make a choice. You can go to your meeting, make your billions, and I'll release this video to every news outlet in the country. Your empire will crumble. You'll spend years in court fighting patent fraud charges. You'll lose everything, just like my grandfather did. Marcus whispered. Emma continued. You sign over the patent rights to the engine design. Return it to the Reeves name, where it belongs. You'll pay restitution to my grandfather's estate enough to save this shop and give me a future. And you'll do it quietly, without fanfare, without trying to fight it. That patent is worth billions, Marcus protested. I know, Emma said, but you'll still have your company, your reputation, your freedom. You'll just have to build your future empire on something you actually created, instead of something you stole. Marcus looked at this small, fierce girl standing in the cold morning light. She held his entire future in her grease-stained hands. And if I agree, he asked, then I fix your car. Emma said simply, you make your meeting, and we never see each other again. Unless, she added, her voice hardening, you try to go back on this deal. Then the video goes public, and I make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of man Marcus Holloway really is. Marcus sat in his Bentley 2 hours later, the engine purring smoothly. On the passenger seat lay a signed contract, transferring the patent rights back to the Reeves estate. Next to it was a check large enough to save the shop and fund Emma's education through college and beyond. Emma stood in the doorway of the repair shop, watching him. She looked small and young again, just a child covered in grease. But Marcus knew better. She was Robert Reeves's legacy, smarter, stronger, and more dangerous than he ever could have imagined. As he drove away, Marcus checked his rearview mirror. Emma had already disappeared back into the shop, back to her tools and engines. He'd made his meeting. The merger went through, but Marcus Holloway had learned something that night. True power wasn't about taking from others. It was about what you could build with your own hands. And sometimes, the smallest opponents are the most dangerous ones, especially when they're fighting for justice. Epilogue. 6 months later, the Reeves Automotive Innovation Center opened in Detroit. Funded by the patent restitution, it provided free mechanical training to underprivileged youth. Emma Reeves, at 13, became the youngest person ever to file an engine patent and improvement on her grandfather's original design. The news article about the center included a quote from its founder. My grandfather taught me that revenge isn't about destruction. It's about restoration, taking back what was stolen, building something better from the ashes. Marcus Holloway read the article in his office. High above the city, he'd lost billions in valuation when the patent transfer became public. His board had questioned him. His competitors had smelled blood. But for the first time in 20 years, when Marcus looked in the mirror, he didn't see the ghost of Robert Reeves staring back at him. Some prices are worth paying. Some lessons can only be taught by a child with oil-stained hands and her grandfather's fierce determination. And sometimes, the person you underestimate the most is the one who teaches you what it truly means to be powerful.